magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Ice Click and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. In the darkest of nights, gonna let my light shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. I'm becoming fearless.
Taking his law, yeah, we tripping straight flies on his low chase a door. Yes, y'all cut through the layers with a hacksaw. Deceptions and manipulations, that's your fatal flaw. Just a matter of time because I know we're the all. These doses upgrades as we here standing tall. The family will catch me if I should never fall. Cause we're in it till we win it, that means the long haul. Worldwide like hypertext, triple protocol. Standing here in and out, nobody anymore. I'm meant to put you forward, ain't no way we let it stall. Consciousness in the balance, so it's more than just a brawl. Keep it on going, this is no curtain call. You losing on your power means you can't enthrall. Find that right portal, time slows to a crawl. As creative means you rise up and crush like a ball. Find the universe, as live as it gets. Yeah, we focus and we feel, and this is the mindset. And that's the one, get the whole team, and now you can bet. We recognize a true power, not your marionettes. Yo, find the universe, as live as it gets. Yeah, we focus and we feel, and this is the mindset. And that's the one, get the whole team, and now you can bet. We recognize a true power, not your marionettes. Yo, find the universe, as live as it gets. Yeah, we focus and we feel, and this is the mindset. And that's the one, get the whole team, and now you can bet. We recognize a true power, not your marionettes. Yo, find the universe, as live as it gets. Yeah, we focus and we feel, and this is the mindset. And that's the one, get the whole team, and now you can bet. We recognize a true power, not your marionettes. Yo, travel at magnificent speeds around the universe. Travel at magnificent speeds around the universe.
You have the right to engage, here's some tools of the trade. Source, meditation, hip-hop, and sage. You have the right to resist fake gods and tricks. Designed to divide, they live in between the lines. Enjoy the ride, eyes open this time. This world's alive, within worlds collide. Incoming transmission, activate the tribe. As your ego dies, now sending you positive vibes. Put up a fight, I purge, I cry. For the first time tonight, it just feels right. Create as we rise, we anchor the light. Inside of a heist that's set inside of a heist. It's a tribe we rise, sun rays to sunrise. I am, we are the spark of life. Surprise, turns out it's been us the whole time. See the all in you because it's all inside.
As live as it gets. Yeah, we focus and we feel, and this is the mindset. And that's the one, get the whole team, and now you can bet. We recognize a true power, not your marionettes. Yo, find the universe, as live as it gets. Yeah, we focus and we feel, and this is the mindset. And that's the one, get the whole team, and now you can bet. We recognize a true power, not your marionettes. Yo, find the universe, as live as it gets. Yeah, we focus and we feel, and this is the mindset. And that's the one, get the whole team, and now you can bet. We recognize a true power, not your marionettes. Yo, find the universe, as live as it gets. Yeah, we focus and we feel, and this is the mindset. And that's the one, get the whole team, and now you can bet. We recognize a true power, not your marionettes. Yo.
around the universe. I'm as live as it gets.
Greetings, everyone. We are around the universe, and as live as it gets. It is Christmas. Oh, look, we just trailed off. Greetings, everyone. Merry Christmas. It's your main man, Frank Castle, your Sorcerer Supreme, right here each and every Saturday night on Fearless. And I am joined by my looks like Reggie's joining us tonight, the cat, but she's sleeping next to me. But it's a perfect time to get into a nice discussion with everyone on a really deep, dark, secret that is the long play that reaches out into everyone in the darkness of night that would come across on the holiday season to leave you the chilling gift of the low vibrational frequency and everything attached to that. Something that probably took years in the making and took me an evening to figure out. And I'm thankful for it. And I'm thankful for everyone that's here tonight. Thank you so much. I've had no free time since the last time we spoke. None. I'm still grateful and thankful. However, it's been a journey. I wanted to do meditations riding straight out into the sunset, but it's not going to happen. Why not? Life happens. A series of events that could have been so catastrophic if not for the position we sit in today. I'm thankful for my awareness, for it is great. And so is my ability. But so are my friends, and so is my family. We are all making this happen. I really don't know how to start this, but I'm going to try. Okay? Because there's certain things I can't discuss with everyone because it's nobody's business. However, there are moments inside the dark plan that wishes to have you subdued through the holidays with the same old shit again. This is I don't know, it's kind of tough to talk about. I just came out of a mushroom trip, so I'm wearing my robe still. I don't know why I'm wearing a robe, like I'm an old Richard Dreyfuss guy. I took about earlier today a 0.8 mushroom, and they were given to me from someone who got them from another shaman. So I had tried them once before. They were amazing. So our plan was to have Christmas Day. It was like a day we could have for ourselves. Finally, to be alone together with the family, with the cats. And then just kind of not be bothered with everything else. You know, I know we all think that. We just want to be with the person we want to be with or the people we want to be around. And we just want to call it a day, including even if we just want to be by ourselves for that time. Right. And so the week set up towards everything. Thank you for joining us. By the way, much love, my fearless family. I just want to kind of ride into this because I've been a little behind with it. So the mushrooms made me take a really good look at what's been going on around me. I had a week that would have and could have broken literally anyone. But I sang and I danced my way through it. Something we're not used to doing, which is weird. There's always a problem. There's always an obstacle of some kind, right? There's always someone with their mouth, or something happened, or somebody's late, or someone's sick, or there's always a problem. However, this weird thing happened. I noticed we moved throughout the week. So I'm going to work forward and backwards for a second. We moved throughout the week like we were in a hustle, like we were going to muscle through this. And I kept Paula saying to me, if this is going to be our last Christmas here, we got to, and we don't know if it is, we don't know if this will be our last Christmas here, but we're like, just in case, we want to make it a Christmas to enjoy, at least, and everything that started to occur was like right at the door of the solstice. So right the night that we did the solstice meditation, that next day, things that shouldn't be there or can't be there were completely obliterated. Like no chance of survival. And I mean like negative thoughts, connotations, ideas of connecting to the darker energies that have surrounded your past that maybe makes Christmas fucked up for some people. We talked about a lot of people sit around for Christmas. They don't want to be there. They don't like the idea. They don't like what's going on. Something's wrong. They don't feel right, but they show up and they force this simulated act of eating and gavoning and sleeping and passing out and waking up, opening gifts. Oh my God, the hustle. And then everybody back in the car, pack up. We got to go. We got to visit the next person. Then we got to get down the road, and then sleep. Oh, then Santa. Then, got to wake up in the morning, and then we start the whole process again. And it's cute to a certain degree, and then to a bunch of it, it's not, because we're getting fed up with the whole thing. So the old ideas and ways of doing things are falling apart because they were originally built on lies. We moved into the winter solstice on the back of Kali, doing meditations for the dance of destruction. That doesn't mean love and light. You do know that. Love and light isn't going to get you through the dark forest at night. All right, so this is so intense. The week revved up. We moved through each situation, and we started not calling each other out. That's not the right word. Saying in the midst of whatever. Remember, this was the idea. This is what we're trying to do. The reason why we're baking is because we weren't buying Christmas presents, so we were baking food for everyone. Unfortunately, you got to bake at a certain time or else it's not fresh. All right, understandable. So you put in a little bit of a hard day, right? You have a real crank out. We had visitors from out of state. Zervos was here, and Stephanie. I love those two so much. It's beyond. Zervos knows. I wish I could just hang out with them all the time. Like I had the ability to just hang out with them. They're the fearless family members are a different breed. We want to send out the higher vibes and the good frequency, and we're not interested. And we don't just sit around and talk about ayahuasca and DMT. We share our experiences and then just talk shit like everyone else. But we're fully aware. Earlier in the day, my aunt was here, and it was wonderful to see her. She's never been here before. And there are reasons for that, right? It was like the perfect moment to squeeze one in. But there's always family out there throwing curveballs and trying to see what's going on and really what's happening. And man, the light just kept shining. There was no dip in the equation where usually there's a problem. Somewhere in there's a problem. There was no problem. The twos and froms, the back and forths. I was like, this is pretty great. Then yesterday I woke up and I had to go to my dad's. I promised him I'd come by for a little bit. We get along really good now. We have an interesting relationship. It's good. I like it. We're both easy on each other a lot, so it's really good. No one's faking the funk in any way. We're very open and honest, which is what I like. And the energy is really good. However, there are people from my past I don't like, that I should never have to deal with again. I should never have to see. But see, now here I go. Me, I should never have to, and they're rah, rah, rah. But they were going to be around. So what are you going to do? Right? So I'm like, I'll get there early. I'll be in and out. I'll go see my brother. None of that works out. Timing was off for the entire day, and I sit here and I realize what time it is, and I'm looking at the clock like, oh man, I'm gonna run into everyone. We got to get out of here. We got to do this, and it's the anxiety. I had to use the bathroom twice. She was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? It was like the spiral down effect, and I was like, where do I know this feeling from? It's not just a feeling of I got to be around people I don't like. Oh, this is the old feeling. This is the old thing that used to happen when I used to have to fucking hang around these people. And they're not bad people. They're just not my people. But they did some bad stuff. And I did some bad stuff in my life too. Me and my stepbrother, which I'm going to officially stop right now of ever calling him that again. It's his name now. I'm just using his name from now on, but I really don't want to. When I was younger, I was dressed up in a suit. I was going with this girl, Marion, to some party. It was really important to her. She's all dressed up. I had to stop at my dad's, went to a party there, and I can't say his name because I don't want you guys to know who it is. My stepbrother, I had to do it again, picks me up. He's gigantic, and throws me into, I guess it had rained earlier and there was a giant mud patch out in the backyard, and we were like partying on the part that wasn't. And he threw me on it, then jumped on top of me and like held me into it. Now I was fully dressed in a suit, and he was so much bigger than me. He was just shoving my face. Now my whole family was there, even my uncles and my aunts. Everyone was there from my father's side. But my father wasn't outside at the time when this was happening. But all my uncles were. All of the step characters from the other side of the family and all these other fucking dummies were there. No one did anything. So I got up in the mud. The girl I was with was screaming. Bloody fucking murder. I mean, there was 100 people there. I said to him, why'd you do this? Why'd you do this? And when he was like, oh, come on, I'm just playing, I pantsed him in front of everyone. And then I picked him up and fucking slammed him. I'm only 5'8". That dude's like 6'4", 280. It's gigantic. And it was like as if God came into me, capital G, and was like, you're going to slam this bitch right now. Anyway, that was I did do that. And then I got in trouble. My father yelled at me. His ex-wife yelled at me. His girlfriend yelled. Everyone had a problem with me all of a sudden for being the animal at the fucking party. And no one defended me. So my uncle came forward. He said, yo, this is what happened. And this is what he did. And he was kind of proud that I did that because my uncle was a monster. Oh, this dude will knock the fucking shit out of everyone. And he pretty much has. And he looked like he was proud of me. And I looked at him like he was a piece of trash at that point. I was like, I have no respect for any of these men who are not men. But you want me to stand up and be a man and like that. But you just saw that was like a bullying situation straight out of the 80s. And it was in the 90s. So I was already beyond I was beyond a teenager at that point. I'm like, I got to deal with this motherfucker all the time. His brother used to beat my ass. I literally went out one night with a knife and was like, he had beat up 3 of my friends and took my girlfriend from me at the time. Go figure. Totally 80s movie. And then started choking me out in front of the park. And I, for the first time, pulled up like the original Rambo knife out and was like, I'll fucking kill you. And he was like, yo, you serious? He kind of let me down. He put me down. He was choking me and beating my ass. I said, if you fucking touch me again, I'm going to kill you. All right. I still couldn't do it. All right. He thought he was playing fun. He fucking slaps me. I punched him in his face, knocked him right to the floor in front of everyone, and had to run for my life after that because the rest of my journey with these people were that experience over and 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 over. I got away that night. And that girl never wanted to really talk to me again after that day when I got dumped in the mud. Now, I'm going to just bring this back. Well, this is relevant. And for as negative as this is sounding and weirding, I'm going to show you a dark fucking plan that they planned against me and my people, and how Paula and I and everyone else involved rose above this plan and crushed them. Because it's going to get really interesting. I had a visitor this evening. Not a good one, but I handled my business. So my life with these brothers, and then one passes away. And that's unfortunate. He was very young, but older than me, but very young. There's a lot of hate and back and forth that I took no part in. I just removed myself from the program, 100%. I didn't talk to my dad. Everybody knows, for years and years and years. However, his ex, who passed, used to talk. And the children of those two were kids at the time, would listen. Frank is this, he's a piece of trash and shit, fuck this, that, the other thing. And we knew because information gets out, they're still talking shit, yeah, da. Now it's Christmas. Yesterday time. And if I'm late, one more fucking minute, I'm going to be in the room with all of them. I'm going to be there with this guy, who I don't have a problem with anymore in life. Totally. I haven't seen him. I don't. You're just somebody that I used to know, right? Like, you're out. But I don't hate you. I don't. And I didn't hate your brother. I hate what you did to me. But I don't hate you. I don't wish bad on them. Just go fucking live your life. Just get the fuck away from me. But now we're older. But those kids are 18 and 19 now. And one of their fathers has passed. And I was the guy that hated your dad. And hates your dad. And hates this one and that one. But I never did anything to these people. I was picked on and abused by 2 jerk-offs for a very long time. And the more violent I would get, the more violent they would get, but everyone would take their side. Somehow, I don't know how that works. I used to argue points that's not blood. They're not blood. What are you doing? But divorces happen, separations between people that loved each other. They find someone else, and that person can corrupt someone into something else, or they go on their journey. And I heard stories, oh, we tried, and, you got to let it go. And this, I'm like, but I never did anything. You guys beat me up, and I'm still arguing this. So now they're all going to be there. So you can hear my anxiety. I'm like, it's like building up. So I roll 3 joints, fatties, right? We get baked right before we go. We pack up 750 cookies. We had 2 cakes. All cookies had to be dipped. Paula's a beast, bro. Chocolate cookies that we made, special ones. So we're looking at just under 1,000. If you would have guys, by the way, shout outs to Joe. My man Joe got me a knife set for cooking because I've been cooking. So he brought over a knife set. Brand. I was like, wow, this is really nice. I've never used a knife set that good. I literally am confused at how good a good knife set is compared to like regular knives. I've never understood this. And now I'm like, holy shit. Paula asked me to slice all this stuff. I sliced them like I was Chef Ramsay. So we've been putting in the work and the time. Rudy, thank you so much, by the way. Thank you so much. I love you. Now sending you positive vibes. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, my brother. So we pack up everything. And I mean, we're fucking up to the rim. And we get out onto the road. And the trip starts already with us having to go. And let's just say it took an hour to get out of the neighborhood. But at no point was it bad. We got everything done. But we couldn't get out of this fucking neighborhood. I'm known to explode with anxiety on what's about to happen and talk to Paul all about it. Oh my God, what's going to happen? Or get really quiet and then it gets a little dark. She's like, well, what's up with you? None of that shit happened. We kept going. It wasn't even like we had to say anything to one another. We're going to do it. It's not muscling through it. We're just going to do it. And we fucking get there. It was great. We see my dad, his friend, this other couple. And it's funny. Paula looks, she's Korean and Italian, but I would say she's 100% Italian, just kind of looks Korean a little bit, right in the face, maybe. Because everything about her just screams like she's Italian. So this lady was like, you know, my family's Italian. She kept telling Paul, and she's like, oh, okay. It's funny to watch, but when she's being quiet, you would think quiet Asian. But we were just in the car like, motherfucker, yeah, where are we? What the foo? We got fucking baked. So the whole thing goes off great. And right as we're about to leave, I'm in the back with my dad. And they fucking pile in the house all at once. They fucking trap me in the back room. And they're like, what's up, man? Good to see you. All right. There was no resistance. We look older now. I don't think he ever saw me with the beard. This is how long it's been. So he was like, oh, yeah, looking good. And he's great. He's fucking white. Everyone's old. Well, see, the problem is that all the talking that people do in families that are lying, they make shit up, they misappropriate stories to continue drama and continue cycles so they can go, you know what, and fuck this one, and well, fuck that one, and this one's a fucking Mama Luke. And it's like the person usually talking all that shit is usually the problem. They're usually just as much of a problem as everyone else. But he says to me, his first thing he says outside of, hey, how you doing? You doing good? You look good, whatever. I go, yeah, I'm all right. What's up? How you doing? It's good to see you. I'm glad you're all right. You look healthy or whatever. He's gigantic. So, and he goes, yeah, I was just with your buddy, Billy. Now, little info on Billy was kind of cool growing up until he decided to do some shady shit and wound up in jail. He was in jail for a long time. He likes to fight. He likes to cause problems. He's a real big troublemaker. Was never with me, but I was with him for about 100 of them a year from 1982 to like 1989 or 90, all the time. So he brings him up fresh out of jail. He's like, oh, I was hanging out in your old neighborhood. can't really hang out with that guy though, because he wants to fight everyone. He's like, I'm a father. I got a job. This dude's out of jail. He just wants to fight. And he goes, you know who he's good friends with, right? So I'm like, no, why don't you tell me? And he says the guy's name, and he's talking in front of Paula and everything. Like she knows who these people are. It's the dark history. He knows that guy that I can't say the guy's name, but he goes like, yeah, he hangs out with that guy, or he knows what's up with him. And yeah, you guys had some run-in back in the day. And I'm like, oh, those were the guys that stabbed me. So you bring up like terrible shit and immediately go right into the literal guy that stabbed me. You're like, oh yeah, he knows him. He was talking to him, and oh, he's around here. You shouldn't have told me that, right? Like now, so all red flags are going off. But now I'm in the back room, in the back bedroom, and they're like piling the coats in there. So one at a time, they got me on the side of the bed up against the back wall, coming over to say hi, but they're piling in. Paula freaked out a little bit. She was watching, like, she kept going, okay, we got to go. And then I kept trying to make a squeeze, and they'd be like, hold up and wait here. This whole thing just collapsed in front of me. So I could imagine who's standing right there right now being a fucking dummy. This isn't a bad thing. It's a story. Hold on. So I'm not talking shit about your people. It's part of the story. You guys were the fucking villain up until yesterday, okay? That's how it works. I was the villain in your life. Now they were the villain in mine. Fuck. So they go through this whole thing. I meet everyone, and I drop the shine bomb on them. You look beautiful. Do you know I love cats? I went right to his wife. Do you know I love his wife? I was like, you know I love cats now? Do you know I still sing and do hip hop and I still do music? She was like, you do? Like, I do. Then the daughters came in, one after another. I'm like, I'm sure you remember me. Come over here and say Merry Christmas to me, because it's wonderful to see you. They were like, I hugged them, kissed them, made my way out of the house to every single person in there. Hugged everyone down, got everyone like, whoa, and then we got out of there. It wasn't bad. We were like, this is amazing. And this isn't the plan. This isn't the dark shit. This is just what's happening in Frank's world. Because we're going to go back and revisit. As soon as the psychedelics hit, they took me. And it started happening, and then it happened right in the fucking room with me. And Paula. She was under with me. Mommy, you playing? Have fun. All right, so we go to my brother's. We have a great time. I had a great time. The kids beat the living crap out of me. He bought a arcade game set thing, so 4 people could play at once. The old arcade. It's an arcade. It's a 42-inch screen. Up to 4 players, thousands of games. I was like, yo, this is crazy. I didn't play any. I got beat up every 5 minutes. Then we ate. We were like, all right, it's time. We cleared up. We got on the road. We came home. We had to stop at Paula's sister's. Now, there's a whole nother thing I can't really discuss. It's none of my business to discuss, but that's going on there. That could have easily, because it happened the day before, 2 days before, and it like steamrolled its way in. Something, family fucked up shit, just fucked up thing. And you're like, wow. And now we're all here, and no one wants the Christmas, and this doesn't work, and that doesn't work. So we're like, what's going on? So she goes, I bought the ham. Now I don't fuck with no swine, but she bought a giant Christmas ham. And it was in the other room. I'm like, well, what happened? She's like, well, it's rotten. What do you mean it's rotten? She goes, I don't know, something happened, man. It's rotten. You need to, and we're not having that. So we opened it, and then it was like rotten on the inside, like, and it was rotting outward. So to me, this was a whole thing. Well, you shouldn't be eating that shit anyway, but it was telling me like, this is up now. This is the stuff that's going to go away. Like, you can't be doing that. If we rotted your main course, there was no sign of it until you opened it, but it smelled a little when they were cooking it, but didn't smell at first. It was weird. So everyone's going through their little thing, and they're in their home, their space, and then we entered 3 multiple spaces yesterday with different family members and all different vibes. I proceed to have a fantastic time. I think I overdid it because I think I scare her man, because I'm too friendly and, oh, this is fucking awesome, and rah, rah, rah. And then he laughs a little, but then he gets all, but I'm like, nah, man, I love Alex and Aiden. So Aiden starts doing the craziest shit in the bedroom. That didn't sound right. He was playing video games, and he was like building game in Minecraft. This kid could build like a building and a city around it and charge admission to it and stuff. It's the wildest thing. He's a little kid. So people start doing donuts in the back. There's Home Depot parking lot right on the other side of the train tracks, and they're just fucking, it's like Fast and Furious for like a half hour. So they're thinking out there it's the video game, and we're in the room trying to play a video game. So he puts the car game on, and he's doing donuts. They're doing donuts. He's dancing. I start fucking laughing and just go, look, hands up in the air. We're going to do this. And we start dancing to techno music. This is all out of character for me, but not. It's just weird. It was like extreme frank and fun. Like, whoa, yeah, we're going to, whatever. The kid's doing this and I'm doing this. I don't give a fuck. I don't know where this is coming from, but I can tell there's like some underlying shit everywhere. It's obvious it's occurring, but we're just riding it. So we agree, Christmas Day, we're going to eat mushrooms. That was the deal. It was kind of Paula's plan. She said to me, what do you want to eat? And I said, we should just eat mushrooms and then eat on each other. Yummy, yum, yum. And she was like, okay, deal. And I was like, what? And then every day leading up, she's like, we're eating mushrooms on Christmas. Yeah. She was telling everyone. I was like, oh, shit. So this is going to go down. So it's been so nonstop with everything that at 4 p.m. today, I finally said to her, this is our day. I took the mushrooms out. I said, we're eating right now. No more cats. It was just fucking crazy. Everything was crazy, but we weren't losing it yet. We were just like, we're in the mode. We smoked a blunt. We hung out. So we eat. It hits us relatively fast because we've only been eating like snacks and shit. That stuff that we baked and stuff. And I'm sitting here, right where I'm sitting, and Paul is on the couch. And this is where it gets weird. So thank you for sticking with me. I haven't read anything up in here. But this is the shit right here. I look at the door, and a guy walks in. He was standing there, but I saw him walk up. I saw his shoulders. Because I'm sitting next to the tree. So the tree's right here. So I was like, what the fuck? But the mushrooms hit me pretty quick. And I saw everything kind of changing. And he looked at me, and he was looking at Paula. And I kind of said in my head, hey, over here, because Paula was sitting on the couch, look at me looking at you. And he looked over at me, his giant eyes. And I said, oh, shit. Are you a snake? And he said, yup. I said, what are you doing in my home, snake man? And he says, do you see what's happening with her? And you? I'm curious to what's going on. I go, oh, the old curious of what's going on bit. Come on in. I don't want you staring at her through the door. So now she's sitting on the couch like, I kick this chair out next to me that she sits in. It just spins and perfectly for someone to come sit. And I had said, come sit, but I kicked the chair. It was the weirdest fucking thing, man. It was some Fonzie shit. And he sits in the fucking chair. He just looks at me. I'm like, what do you want? What are you doing? So now I'm happy in my heart, and we're happy because there was no, I've yet, once again, this is like the 20th mushroom experience where there was no disgusting feeling going into the trip where you feel gross and yucky. There was none of that. It just walked right in. It's just like tingling and spine tingling and giggles and shit. Boom, in. So I'm like, I want you to sit here. I want you to stay right here. Just hang out. He was so curious about me and Paul. He's like, well, the two of you were, he kept doing this, like really fast. It was the way he moved. And it was very awkward because I wanted to I was very happy, but I wanted to physically attack him, but knew I didn't have anger and rage. But one of y'all snakes killed my squeak. And I still haven't had the opportunity to skin that snake. And that's going to be mine. That one's mine. I don't give a fuck. Now in the future, that one's getting it. Everyone has one. That's mine. Did you kill my cat Squeak? Because you look like him. And he said, no, I did not do that. I said, do you know where he is? He goes, I do not know where he is. I says, do you have any? He goes, I'm not here to hurt you or her or cause a problem. I'm here to watch. I'm like, the connection. And now Paula starts glowing gold. The energy on the inside is starting. It looked not like the Matrix code in gold, but like it, but not like it. It wasn't very movie theatrical. It was like holographic reality happening. I was like, wow, that's fucking crazy. But it was coming off like crazy, like almost like she was rooting into the couch. So she has a more carefree, doesn't give a fuck about the guy, that this, that. She doesn't care. She's like, Frankie, I want you to come and sit with me here. Fuck him. Come sit with me. What does he want? He's interested in the connection. And I'm talking happily and looking at him. His eyes were gigantic, man. He was so much bigger than me, too. He sat in the chair. And that's my chair. I'm in her chair. Her chair goes up for a guy that's like maximum 5'8", 230 pounds, maybe. And I fit in her chair perfectly. But I love my chair because it's a little bigger. But this guy was so big. I was like, I'm offering him a seat. I want to see if he would take it. I also let the monster in the house. I invited him and sat him right here, not knowing. I felt that he was all right, but I was watching him. The eyes didn't glow or nothing. It literally looked like a humanoid snake man. His neck moved. I can't move like they move. I've been around the raptor beings, and they like almost like they're giant. Geez, come on, Bronx Frank, snap out of it. The way a chicken walks, does that shit with its head. Like, I don't really see that often, so I gotta like look at videos to see that kind of stuff. But the raptors move like that, but they're big and they're people. They're not raptors like from the movie where they're running around. They're men that are like us, but raptors, fully capable of fucking you up. And they're doing these herky jerk movements, and makes you very uncomfortable because you can't move your hands around them much. They get like, that's what draws them in. But if you act like they do, it's very difficult to do. But once you do it, you have fun with it, whatever. This motherfucker, he was doing it, and I was looking for clues silently right in his face, right in his eyes. I never did it like that before. I had no fear. I was happy. Yeah, I knew what me and Paul were gonna do. We're gonna have a good time. So I'm like, man, whatever. If you want to see the cycle, you let it happen, but whatever. But I was scanning him, checking him, all kinds of weird shit. He was wearing a purple top, and you could see what I would think is chest pecs, but there were ripples under it, like abs, but it was weird. It was like a snake belly with man tits. Buff, but he had shoulders like fucking, like more than mine. They were round and bulbousy, muscular, fucking muscular, but it moved differently than the reptilians. The reptilians, if they're just walking and they look like the Incredible Hulk would, if you took the Hulk's head off and put a reptile, the way the muscles just are there, like, you know, if you shoot that thing, the bullet's not going through. It's going to bounce off or something. I made a comment when I first met them. I was like, I don't think I could get a sword through that. He's like, you can't. He's like, your bullets can't. You'd have to shoot me with a 50 cal to hurt me. And I would still kill everyone here with nothing, no, barehanded. I would just, and then eat all of you. I was like, oh, great. But I touched them because of it. I couldn't help myself. This is the original reptilian when I was in Tampa. I touched him and he was like, don't ever do that again. I said, there's no flack on your skin. It's just hard. But the snake, it was more pliable. Like this part went this, so it could move. It almost looked like ridges, not quite fan-like, but slack in the skin, stretch, so it could stretch and move. I was watching that and its shoulders. I'm like, how are you built with muscles like that and moving it around like that? Because most muscular beings just kind of have their groove. This thing was all like, I don't know. I've seen like yogis or characters trying to pretend in kung fu being the snake. I'll fight you like the snake, and they do the moves. And some of them get pretty close, but you ain't seen shit until it's sitting right next to you, sitting right here doing that. And you're like, all right, well, you're going to keep doing that? And he was like, what? I'm like, all right, this is going to be awkward. I went and I sat over there. Paul was like, come sit with me. Fucking let him do whatever. No cat would come near this chair, by the way. So it was the weirdest thing. I lay down with Paul. I'm looking at the being. She puts her head on me and it melts directly into my shoulder and neck. And then the whole background starts changing. I start seeing all right. I think when you're going to make love to someone, she's going to kill me for this. You kind of build the frequency and it builds like your secret lovey place that it just feels like flowing things and candles lit with just the right, everything's just perfect. Nothing's too bright. Everything's flowing and you feel good. You can almost feel the wind on it. It gets weird. I was watching this being built around us and it was like our place. And I've been with her in this place before because we've done this before, but I never saw it built in front of me. So the creature, the snake, was watching this and it came around him as if he was going to be in it and then pulled forward. And then he wasn't trapped in it. It kind of like went through him. So he was behind it now. And it was building this beautiful. I kept telling Paula, I feel like the Sultan. It looked like something out of Lawrence of Arabia or that in the highest frequency. So things were golden and it was perfect, but it was being built. So I tried to talk and couldn't because my jaw was melting with her fucking head. And then my hand was like on her shoulder and on her face. I don't know how it was doing this. My fingers were stretching, and I saw my elbow over there, and the being was freaking out as I was like, I think I'm transforming with Paula. And then when I looked down, our our bodies just it didn't become one, like, oh, it's so beautiful, become one. Like, we just melted into each other like two trees that just grow across each other, melt into position. And then her functions and my functions were all one. Like that, like it was fucking crazy. So he's looking at me, and I look back over, and Paula goes, "Not now, Oscar." And I'm like, what? Like, I can't. I'm having trouble now with the room, the 3D room I'm in, just seeing where the fuck is Oscar? Where is he? Boom, he comes up on Paula, then lays across our chest. Like, we had the blanket up. He laid right here. So like his face was here on me, and his butt was kind of in Paula's face. It was funny. He like wrapped his tail under him, and he leaned into me, and he kept depressing me in. And then he was like, so I was petting him and petting him, petting him. And then my hand was melting into him. And I said, I don't want to keep petting him weird and freak him out. Because I was like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? But I promised the mushroom, I'm going with the flow. Going with the flow. Going with the flow. I look over at this guy again. Now, I'm starting to get into it with Paulie. I'm like, I want to fool around and have a good time, but now I can't because Oscar's on me. You're on me. Wait a second. And all that scanning I was doing, all of it from earlier, every nook and fucking cranny detail on this character. His eyes even moved weird when he moved. It was so weird. I saw in his mouth. All right. So beings show nervousness different. It's just how it is. You will sweat and you'll notice, oh shit, this motherfucker's sweating. So you all right? You nervous or something? It was like that. Except I was scanning his face and it lit up. It was like I must have lit up. I don't know if he whatever, but it like enhanced his face. So he was like, and my vision went like click, click and brought it up, but I could still see he was there. But this thing's being built around us. And I'm like, oh, man, this is fucking crazy. And then I looked again and went, doop, 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 and I saw his fang. And then he licked it and the poison dripped real slow. And I said, yo, this dude's going to attack me right now. He's going to come at me right now. Right. So then he's just like, and I leave my body and I see this whole, it looked like Paula grew into me and I grew into her. And we were just like this. Golden lights, all kinds of I saw so much green tonight from my heart center. Anyway, the white spirit character, the robed fucking light being body came out and came this way. And my body just, it was like I was dead, but alive. I don't remember breathing for a while. And I think Paula freaked out once or twice because I was busy here. All right, let me just tell the story. So I came out of my body and saw the flesh robot of me melding with her with all the glory behind it, but it looked fucking scary. If you've never seen anything like that, I was like, this is like a weird melding of pixelation and growing organic consciousness pushing us in the hologram. So you're like melting and merging. So the being was looking there at me, and I came around as the character and looked into his mouth, and I went, oh shit, these things are intense. And I snapped them, and he sat back in the chair like someone punched him right in his fucking face. I went, oh, that worked. So he goes, get out of me right now. Get the fuck out, like get out. He was freaking out. I've never done this. because I'm the guy that goes, that's nasty. That's so nasty. So for as nasty as you really think I might be, I'm really not. Right. So I put my arm in its mouth and found with the sac that pumps that poison out. And I dumped it back down his throat. I said, it seems like it's in a protected sac. And then I ripped and it just started coming out. It was like this greenish, it was like this weird color green. I've seen it on the sweet mint. This is so weird. I can't believe I'm even making this reference. The sweet mint orbit gum has this greenish color on the package. It was a liquid version of that, but you could tell it was poisonous. You could tell just by looking. You'd be like, I don't know if I should touch that shit. But it didn't get on me, and it poured down his throat, and he was sitting there like, and I said, nope, that's not enough. And I was scooping it out. And I says, okay, now that you're busy doing that, I don't think you'll be a problem any longer, huh? Merry Christmas. And went voomp back into my body. And he was over here gurgling. He was like, she gets up, goes into the bedroom. I'm like, when she separated from me, it felt like, like a part of me literally was unstitched and pulled out. And I didn't like it. I'm sure she didn't, because she jumped up. She got up. She was like, yeah, I'm out. I'm going in the bedroom. Come meet me in here. I got my shit back together. Walked by him. I said, that's it for you. We got into bed. Had this incredibly weird experience together. I got to watch what I say now. It was not anything the way I would have planned it in my head for my personal satisfaction, along with hers, would not play out. However, everything else did. And all right, I can't explain this, but we were melding into each other naturally. But every time for me, I'd get to there, they were like, something was like, nope. So I'm like, hey, whoa, what's this? And they're like, yo, hold on. And I keep saying they, but I think it was my higher self. It wasn't a villain or a dark one. I had apparently fucked this guy up. But I was like, started cycling in my energy. How do I talk about this and not be disgusting? I was not finishing, because as soon as you'd get right to the point of really kind of grooving at any point, it would stop, shut off, restart. And I was like, what is happening? And then it would just start up again. Like, so I'm like, why is my system shutting off? But not because it builds up. But then build up. You okay?
It's like a sauna in here. It's bubbling up.
Sorry. I had the heat on, and I guess the oven got it hot in the other room. All right, so it was cycling. So when I would look down, it looked like I started doing the figure eight with my own energy, right? It was one of the most powerful experiences that started happening to me. So I couldn't understand, but I promised I would go with the flow. So as if I let the higher selves just to kind of take over, and the experience just went on to become the experience. Okay. When that was all over, I guess we passed out for a little bit. We were like cuddling, and things were really nice. And I come out here. I have to start feeding and moving around. And I'm just tripping really hard, really fucking hard still. I'm like, man, that the whole house is clear. There's just cats now everywhere. And I'm like, oh, I'm tripping so hard. This is crazy. I think I need to shower. I think I need a shower. I need to reshake everything that goes on. Now, this is where it gets fucking weird again. And James, thank you so much. I just looked up and saw this. James, thank you so much. Merry Christmas. Sending you positive vibes. Love you very much, Fearless family. I appreciate you. All right. So I start going, oh my gosh, I'm tripping so hard. I'm trying to feed cats. I go, you should try doing this. And this angel was standing in the kitchen looking right at me. He was standing at the refrigerator and he's like, nope. I go, what do you? He goes, you're the creator. That's why you're there doing it. You may think it's hard. Like, look, I'm tripping, trying to feed these cats or whatever. You should try it. You fucking think you could do it? You come here and do it. He's like, I don't think I can do it. But you can do it because you're the creator. So you could be fucking tripping. He said just like this to me. You could be fucking tripping and feeding cats and be like, whoa, you try it. I can't. So I'm with you. You do it. I'm like, yeah. I was like, what the fuck? This is awesome. I go in the shower. I greet everything. Greetings, everything. Water, clean me. This little thing, I start remembering the guy and all these other things that had happened to me while I was literally, when Paula and I fell asleep together, we merged. We were like the two physical bodies were just attached. And we were out here doing wonderful stuff. Just spirit stuff. I don't know. It was fucking awesome. Some of it still has me like, wow, I can't believe this. So I get in the shower and I'm doing that. And the angel's there and just whatever. You guys gonna watch me watch my balls? Okay, here we go. They're like, yo, rewind time. Like, what? Rewound. Right to when the guy walks in. I invite him to sit down. So I'm like, I thought I was being nice by bringing him in and doing it the way I did it. I kind of still don't understand. They're like, let's rewind a little bit more. Him at the door. Right before he walks in the door. They send him in here and they're like, we want to know why the experiment isn't working. And once you figure it out, get rid of the experiment. I was like, what? Who the fuck is he talking to? Boom, reptilian, other character. I don't know what the fuck this thing is. AI. I'm like, all right, who are these guys? And they're like, all right, look, basically, rewound again, pulled me back, showed me the last like 5 days of my life. They said, okay, leading into Christmas, they're planning on, and I look over and there's that snake guy. And he's like contemplating. I go, is this guy like the brains of the operation or something? Like, who is this guy? Why do they keep showing it? He's fucking, I don't know what happened to him. I fucked him up. Right. And he's going, so the plan is we're going to get every one of them sick. All the ones that aren't sick, we're going to get demons implanted into them. I heard his thought process. And I was freaking out because it's so detailed, way more. I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy. Like this perfect plan that he had planned out with these other beings against everyone, but this was my specific one with Paula. And they inserted a demonic entity right out here on the ley line, right? And the entity was small. Small. Like this big, literally. And I saw it and I said, oh, he's so small. What the fuck is that thing going to do? Right? It was a mix between that graphene graphite, that black stuff, like the hardened black goo. Think, I explained this before to Paula, the monolith from 2001 Space Odyssey, that shiny monolith where it's just almost alive and moving. Think if I punched it and shattered it into equal amount of little pieces, and one this size controlled the whole thing. So it all just displaced all these little tiny pieces, and they went everywhere. It was like copies of this thing, but I only saw the one. And I'm like, all right, I'll handle this myself. And I see me go towards it, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Everywhere. I was getting, it's disgusting talking about it. It was in the vaccinations. It was in the food and the water. It put itself in your bed with you. It's in your cat. It's in your dog. It's in the air vents. It's in all the things like, I got special filters for it's in. There's no around it. They build it specifically so this thing could get in and get all over the fucking place specifically. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to get anything done with this character. And he's sitting there going, you ain't going to do nothing. And he's right here in front of me. And I'm like, I'm going to get him. There's got to be some. How do I get? Is this all one guy? And then I hear, and I put a cup over him with magnets around it. I don't know what the fuck, how that happened. I saw them go, brrr, and this thing shit itself, right? It was like trapped on the glass. And then the magnets, and it started pulling this out of everyone and out of everything. The whole area. I was like, what the fuck? And they're like, listen, hold on. Now that you're seeing this, it all goes back to the one character. Blip. This giant creature. And I'm like, your plan was to slip in the darkness of night through the TVs on Christmas, the vaccinations, the COVID coughs, the this, the that, blame it on everything. And you're really doing this through the products that we ingest and the stuff that's built up in us. It's going to be able to now skip itself, place parts of itself in all of us. Minor part of the plan, by the way. It's only going to work if you drop everyone in frequency. So I'm like, what? It's like, well, you guys could shake shit off. Yous aren't pussies. So let's not try to think for 1 second the creator isn't awesome. Okay, that's just one part of the plan. Rewound it again. Boom, to Paula's situation when she got her crappy news. Now it's like a few days before. She gets it. She hears about it. There's no drama. It's like these weird conversations that are so intense and powerful, and standing up for yourself and standing for what's right. And just, I mean, like, whoa, I'm witnessing this stuff. And I'm like, I'm shocked at some of the things. And I'm like, this is amazing watching this and whatever. And then there's the snake guy. He's watching. I'm like, what the fuck? And then he goes, what the fuck? Why isn't she acting the way she's supposed to? And I go, oh, that's it. Go over there. Zip on right onto the other side. He had a fucking readout of me and Paula. And they knew everything that was about us. Every way that we act during the time of the year, how many attacks have gone on, what we could handle, what we can't handle, and what is the best possible way to literally get us off the fucking board without literally just walking in here and murdering us. So he says, don't worry about physically doing it. We're going to let them just fuck each other up. They're going to fight. They're going to do this. This is going to happen. She's going to get depressed. He's going to wake up grumpy. This is going to occur. So now they're taking me through the week of those days where it just gets crazy. Nothing. We're like, none of the things they thought was going to occur occurred. So the being gets closer, and he's like, I'm like, what is he still looking at us? And they're like, okay, they're going to get you in the ride. You guys aren't going to be able to get out of the Bronx. Some weird shit's going to occur. You're going to start fighting. They want you to take yourself out. It's just the object of the plan is for you to do it to you, to agree to look over all the years gone by where you could throw a punch, scream, kick, cry, complain, or be depressed. And it's another one. I guess that's just how it is. You get older, you grow out of it. And the kids, and that's all fake. It feels real because it's your emotion. Oh, yeah. So that's real. But they're planning on you doing that. And as you do that, and you bring yourself to bed after finally one day I had off from work, and the COVID and the vax and the people and the fucking kids and the screaming and the traveling and the hassle and the passports and the this. Your frequency goes whoop. So you have no awareness that all of that's taking place is meant to be in your way personally, if you take it personally. Paul and I, even in the hardest part, I think the most upset I got was when I was dipping the fucking cookies because I wasn't eating them because I can't fuck with too much sugar anymore. I've seen it immediately leaving because I like it. I needed something to eat, and she made me like a little sandwich quick, and then it reboosted me. We talked for like 10 minutes, and then boom, right back into it again. So I'm watching this occur, and the beings going like, okay, that didn't work. We smoked the joints in the car. We got so fucking stoned and laughed and talked. We talked about the thing that happened with her and the this and what happened with me and how people were acting with this and how she's got my back because Paul is ride or die. So me and her, we're going out together in a blaze of glory. So she was telling me that, so I was happy to hear it, and I was like, you don't have to, that's so nice, and I know you're looking out for me. We're going to Dad's and this. She goes, no, I've been planning on this fucking day, and we're putting bubbles of protection and do. All right, then I feel Kali, right? I'm like, what is this? And they're like, well, you didn't think we left, did you? At every point where the anxiety hits, this other thing occurred right as it was about to start. Like, oh, I don't know about boom. I don't think so. Allowing me like this awareness jump, quietness. I wasn't aware I was even being attacked. I was aware that shit goes down in life, and like my mind was completely not there. And every jump off point through the day. Now, they showed my my stepbrother. They showed him to me. And I said, oh, they were like, okay, nothing's working on Frank, so we're going to send him in. We got this. And it was this weird thing that happened with Paula. We kept looking at him. And he just kept like putting his hands in his pockets and talking, kind of like not looking. And it was this weird little thing. And they were like, this guy's going to set it off. And they showed me the whole list of things on how they were going to do it. And I said, how the fuck do they even know this? And they literally had readouts on us. Then I watched it fail. I watched them fail all the way back to me snapping and gutting this creature's venom sac. I don't know how else to put this. Guys, this really happened on that level to where I grabbed guts and I was like, nah, this shit's over. I ain't never done nothing like that before. I've attacked things just as they have attacked me, but this guy was sitting here. So it was like I spiritually attacked him back while under mushrooms, or repelled his attack. And then it goes all, so it was like watching a movie and play out in two different ways. So I lived through it and then had to go back and watch this whole other thing that happened around me. So I go, I think that being was going to attack us for sure. Like, was going to do something. They said get rid of when the experiment, they couldn't figure out how everything they did to us or set up, nothing worked. Nothing. Not one fucking thing worked. Nothing. They were so curious that the scientist himself came in. Whatever this character was like, I'm going to go see why the experiment's like this, and then I'm getting rid of the experiment. And I was sitting here after the whole thing. Paula, right before I went live, Paula and I had this giant conversation. I wished I had recorded, because I kind of like woke her up and was like, you want to hear this crazy story about how they're attacking us right now? And I had to play the whole thing back. And we got into detail of the synchronicities that you would just think is commonplace bullshit that were so lit up on the map for us. So she was like, it was like walking through a minefield. And I said, I think we heisted their brain guy. I think their dude with the plan, the man with the plan, just got shut down 100%. I feel like I heisted a guy. Like, I'm Frankie Heist. Me. I'm the creator. Co-creating out here with my other creators. You don't fucking heist me. I heist you, motherfucker. And I would never do that. But that's me. So you come to me with a heist, and then we out heisted the heist by heisting their plan without even fucking knowing that was going on. Crazy. All right. So my frequency is so high right now. I know it doesn't look it because I'm tired now because I've been smoking. I already had this conversation before I went live. I didn't even know it was Saturday. Paula said, is today Saturday? And I said, it's not Sunday. And then I go, damn, these days that we've been so busy, I haven't done a meditation or nothing. She goes, it's Saturday. And I go, the fucking show is today. What? And then, like, I had to bring it back into focus. So I watched them play this out. Here's a part of the plan. I didn't dictate, but I'm supposed to roll through to one guy, and that guy there is supposed to upset my plan. I'm to upset Paula because I'm like, what the fuck? And then she's like, no, another year like this fucking guy. And then we go to my brothers, and at my brothers, it would go, woe is me. And then my brother goes, woe is me too. And then they have their set of things going on. And then the kids, and it's like, fuck these kids. Or do you love those kids? You're supposed to be echoing the dark out to them, spreading it like Christmas cheer. You know, none of that happened. And then on to the next situation where in that space, it was a little already, everybody's on edge. And then their plan not working, foiled again. I didn't know there was a plan going on. I promised to go with the flow. That's it. We picked up on stuff along the way. You're hearing a Nutcracker's version of this. But when I was backed up and this one creature split, it was like the obelisk. was like black goo. It was like fucking Venom, I guess. I don't know. But he split into all these little characters and went everywhere around here. And it was everywhere. And I'm like, so you guys are planning literally on implementing this as an anchor. So they get you to take the shots. Not all the shots have bad things in them. Some of them are just saline. So we don't all get sick at once. And they can pace it out. So when the dying starts or the crazy shit starts, you can't blame it. It could still be underlying conditions of something else, and then the heart thing, and then whatever. They could make excuses for a year before someone puts their finger on it and goes, no, absolutely not. But these little antenna arrays that they're building in you attaches the creature to you. It's like the frequency that it emits. I want to say, like, if I put this object here, it'll emit a certain frequency out to all the other things, and then when it reaches out and grabs the thing that is in your body, the metals, the heavy metals and stuff, it like locks you into a web into where this is sitting in the frequency this thing wants you in. So if this is in 3D and you're trying to go to 5D, you're going to 3D. You're going to stay there. You're going to be like, and you're going to not know if it's up or down. You're not going to know what's going on. So when you see people not, my awareness was going off the charts. And I'm like, man, I thought we dealt with all the bullshit already. They're like, Frank, think of this as the class that's not an option when you come to the school. It's not required that you pass this or take it or even aware that this class exists. However, if you find yourself in a position where you're in the class, you're a master and you're an elite. There's not many people doing this at all. They don't know this exists. So I'm like, so we're thwarting plans now on that level. And they're like, your little attack was like a physical damage done through spiritual means. Kind of like instead of sending your demon out, you literally sent your soul over there and broke his teeth. Even though he's in frequency with you, you could obviously he's sitting right there with you. I touched him. I looked at him. I greeted him. I sat with him. I spoke with him right here. It was fucking intense. But I know he's in a frequency, not this cup, right? But I've seen them knock shit over. They did it 2 minutes when I first started the rant. Well, the story, they knocked everything off of here. So it's obvious you're fucking can influence stuff. What about me? Can I influence you there? Is that what we think is spiritually based really not a spiritual thing at all? But we are the power that we can just send the spirit out into you and be like, cake, motherfucker. Because I watch it occur. Over and over and over and over and over. I was like, I need to replay this in my mind. That they were so detailed with the attack where it ends on Christmas with us going to sleep and having all this shit in us and all of us angry and saying, yet again, it happened again, like it happens every year. I bought all the gifts. He's disrespectful, and this motherfucker, and this don't care, and don't do a dish, and I fuck these people. I don't want nobody in my house. This is what really goes on in most people's minds, especially when you're locked in all over the place and you're waiting in 3 hours of traffic. You get there, then you eat, then you get to shit, then you got to sleep, then you got to get back in the car again real quick. Gonna drive. I'm all sloppy. I don't know what the fuck is going on. This is money. Stress. And then you go to bed. And it locks you in place. So there is no resistance. They come in the night and come creeping spiritually like a wave of darkness, the creeping death itself, which is nothing more than another stupid character in the stupid play that we have to start Exiting them stage left as soon as we find them. Oh, this is what you do, huh? That's amazing. Did you ever see this? And send them right into the light immediately. Giant foot in their fucking back. Let Source sort it out. Source is like, I'm here, bro. It's game. I saw my car ride where they said, get him at the car. He'll be stressed. He has to pee all the time. Right? I didn't pee the whole time. Fucking weird, right? I went the whole day. I peed once at my dad's. This is stupid, and then twice at my brother's, but over the course of 9 hours. It was crazy. And then that was it for the day. I usually have to pee when I'm in the car all the time. This is the car. I got to pee again, man. Nah, this sucks. None of it happened. I saw them like triggering me on I was in the car going, oh, I know I'm going to pee. I don't want to have to pee. And then the thought just faded. It was them the whole time doing that. They knew my workup and were planting on me at the moment of the workup because they can't get me at any other moment. So they wait for a slip. And no slip happened because I'm just going with the flow. I promised my heart I would go with the flow. I promised Paula I would go with the flow. I don't fucking lie. I do my best. I do my fucking best. And at least I fucking try. Right? And so it works. And it works really good. And then they would come in the night, lock you into the frequency, and you would wake up. You would just think it's another fucking hassle. You would think life is just what it is, motherfuckers. I guess we're all in this shit bowl together. And it's like, no, you got to stop being like that. And it's like, well, how can I stop? It's obvious that if you take a look at everything that happened, it's completely fucked up. We just went through an entire section where all these things could have went sideways, crooked, upside down, left, right, uppercut, whatever. And we left behind nothing but fucking magic. I said, Paula, when I look back at the last few days, all I see was magic. I don't know what else to call it. I've never seen so many things get done and so many people pleased. And then, but from the heart, right? Just enough space, just enough time in the middle of everything. You could just easily lose your shit. No, we got this. Don't worry. It's cool. It's cool. Why would Source do that to you? I've been with Source for a long time now. I am Source. Why would he do that to you? He wouldn't. It's the human experience and the flesh suit and your ego and the way you've developed programming over time that gets depressed, which causes you depression because it's in your physical avatar. So you're like, but your higher self isn't depressed. And the character, the soul, the light body, that's not depressed. It's you inside of that. So we're looking for the functionings to release all that. And they're adding it to everything. So that's why there's like those, you feel like nobody's trying. It's like they can't. They don't know what's happening. They don't. I cried. I looked and I said, all these people have no clue what's happening, but I do. So with my awareness of a situation, if I saw a fire, shouldn't I yell fire, call 911, go help, see if there's kids inside or people, whatever, pets? Wouldn't we sound the alarm, do something? Well, if nobody else could see it and I could, your awareness, I've taught this for a long time, kind of makes it your responsibility. If you're a warrior, I mean, you could just walk away from that one as well. It's your perspective. But my awareness that the monster's attacking children in their fucking sleep, why should I not do something? No one else seems to see it going on. Okay. So I did. Then I go back to the moment right before he walks in here and I'm like, I want to see his people. The snakes are weird beings, the snake men. They're like, they don't hang together. Picture battalions of reptilians. I mean, I don't know numbers exactly, but I'll just say for every like 20 or 100 reptilian warriors, you'd have one snake guy with the plan. But you can't keep all those snake guys together. Because what do? Everyone starts fucking each other over. See, they're not part of the hive mind. They're their own intelligence. It's the snake. The reptile, the reptilian, the ones that we worry about, even worry about the snake. The snake man walks in the room and they all shit themselves. Why? Because the snake could make them turn on themselves and kill themselves. They have the ability to do that kind of shit. To work your mind with their mind. They're sneaky, underhanded, creepy. They're like fucking pedophiles at CNN, right? You can't open a desk drawer around there without hitting one right in the fucking forehead. These motherfuckers are everywhere. So I asked them to show me. All of them. And they did. It's weird how this works sometimes. I've talked to many people in the Fearless group about being on the enemy ship and attacking them on their own ship. It was like we walked in on their landing platform through a portal and just walked right into the main deck, like on the landing area where they're just landing their little ships and stuff. It was all silver color, chrome color. There were ships inside this big ship, and there were multiple big ships. I think there were 3, and they were just out there together doing their thing. And this was their base of operation. This is where the chunk of these fucks came from. You've heard me talk about this. You've heard people like Elena Donovan talk about this, and the Super Soldier talks where they talk about being on the craft and then having an all-out war on the deck and being like all different creatures and crazy shit. When I walked in there, and believe me, I walked in like, and I was naked again. And that's when I know I already know I'm single-minded in that moment, but I know the ones watching me know that it's on. And I don't know why I'm like that. I would never get naked and fight someone. And anything weird like that. But spiritually, I was naked and I just came through, and it was like a light just rushed across the deck like a tidal wave and blinded everything there. And it looked like a war went off. It looked like people were just getting crushed because I'm with the craziest characters. It was like some of you knew people I didn't know that I in real life want to know were there helping. Like, oh yeah, it's on now. And they were helping. And there were so many light being characters, but there's a lot of non-light being characters. Not everybody's like us. The light being with the light body running around like that. That's like having the Silver Surfer in the room with you. You're like, who the fuck is this guy glowing all crazy colors and shit? Like, you know, if Superman was standing there, you'd be like, there's a guy here in some spandex. He's flying. He's got a cape. This dude's made of light, apparently, and he's floating and doing that. This is a panther man of some kind. This is a reptilian man. This is a mantis. So there's all this shit. And I saw crowds just gathering and smashing right on this deck. I saw ships just crushing and going, bending. They were I don't know who the hell was doing that, but I saw nature was with me. So I rushed through the ship with my heart. I was standing with everyone, but everyone was like kind of fighting and running, and a part of me stopped and the rest of me kept going and went through the ship and was just crushing. It was like passing through an object and then physically damaging it and it just going on fire and it was weird. It was so weird. I felt the physical property of going like, no, that one. I saw the ships crushing in on themselves. I saw creatures that I didn't know existed that belong with us. They're not garden fairies, but they were fairies. There were other beings as well. I don't know what they were. For a lack of a term, an elementals, but obviously that word is very broad stroked. And they were released as the destruction was occurring, they were somehow released. It was like we were going through the ship, releasing everyone. I didn't even know I was doing that. And they were coming out, and I was saying, I want like a roll call of them. And I said, bring the fairies. I didn't know what to call them. They looked like garden fairies, but bigger. Just bigger. I was like, they belong over here with us, with nature. I don't know what mother re-guided back to the planet. There'll be no more of this. I saw weird characters, man. I saw humans that we watch sometimes. They were there. Like, yeah, it's like we're all gonna do this. That I would not have expected. You know, I have my people I watch where I'm like, wow, that'd be interesting if I was on the spiritual plane and ran into this one, or in real life, I could then shake his hand and say, hey, good job, bro. Or, hey, girl, that was great going. You're pretty fucking awesome. You're like my hero. They were there. And it was like we were gathering, all of us. Like, we're not going to take it anymore. We're going to bring it right to them and shut it all down right here, to the point that they would stand and call me an experiment. Us, the I am, we are. Like, we're not your fucking experiment. You may have thought it started as an experiment. I'm infinite life in everything, in all, just all. So whatever you think you did to genetically modify and build for homicide, we already knew. You're fucking beat. See, as the creator, you have this place programmed, right? And then I'm the creator of the place, the actual guy on the outside and the guy on the inside, and that includes all of you as well. And then you're from the inside, and you're going to tell me how the program is written and how the script is set. Okay, the script isn't supposed to go off the way it did. And naturally, you have guys in there doing that, sending it into that direction. We came in and overriding the programming in the false reality matrix inside the human flesh component itself. Every chakra part of the system on the spiritual level, from the highest node to the lowest node and the lowest density. Like, we're overriding the system with our consciousness. If we're not fucking superheroes, I don't know what is. We literally send pink energy out from the other side. It comes into source here, right? And then through the creator, the infinite creator, the one, it splits out and goes in, and you fractal out and you start doing your things. So you're just basically mind over matter. Like, you're doing it and you don't even fucking realize it. And then they're attacking us in that. And to me, that's a fucking joke, right? That's like Wario chasing me, right? Like, he comes out of the game and he's like, man, I'm going to get you. I'm going to just smash your fucking head in. You're not chasing anyone. The chase is over, son. Or maybe I pull up a chair and Wario starts having some cake with me. And the minute he acts a fool, he make him cake. And to me, that's silly. These are silly problems to have on that level. We are like masters of alchemy. Shout outs again to Kevin. KG, Sons of the Suns in the house. But we're the masters of alchemy. That's all alchemy. Not some, not a few, not a couple. All. You specialize in this, which would basically be a bump on the fucking giant ass of life. We scratch it once or twice and then it's gone. How you like them apples? That's what these things are. So we're getting rid of them. But our awareness to the things that they're doing is what allows us to overwrite the programming by not being in fear back the other direction. So you'll see it and then go, oh, and you can choose to be in fear. And then it's just a process within itself. Or you choose to go a fearless style. You face it for whatever it is and you go into it and you start to shed everything off. You're like, and then eventually you're just glowing, standing in that. And they're like, man, nothing's working. And you'll be like, bro, I stopped you here, 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 and here, here, and here, here, and here, here. I appreciate everything you did. Thank you for coming to work today, because without you, I wouldn't have got to this point. However, you can't be here any longer. You get rid of them. You move into the next step. My awareness is bringing me into places I never thought existed. I was telling Paul, if this keeps up, we're going to be running Hogwarts by the end of 2022. They're literally going to hire us and be like, yo, you guys are in charge of this. Because I've never seen things on this level. And from where I'm seeing them, the perspective, it's going to break cycles. If they cause you the frustration at specific points in time, during specific points of things they develop inside their system to get you worked up to a specific point to agitate you in all these directions so they could anchor you down here. Now, knowing something like that, wouldn't you immediately try to change what you're doing or change the habit? Like, I saw someone that's really into Jesus. Like, he's a Facebook friend of mine. I'm not snapping. He's another rapper that's into God and stuff, and that's cool. Jesus is the one. He's going to save us all, second coming, all that crazy Christ shit. All right. We know that's not going to happen. And it's obviously not going to happen on fucking Christmas, because Christ was not born on fucking Christmas. Moloch was. Oh, there you go. I said it. They took Moloch's birth and fucking into this reality and switched it out with Jesus, who's probably in April or May, or I don't know when his birthday is, but it's obviously not Christmas. This dude's like, welcome baby Jesus to the world, and for the Christ and the this and the that. I'm like, man, he wasn't born on Christmas. Like, you're showing your ignorance inside of this weird faith loop that makes no sense to someone standing out here. Like, you're perpetuating the fucking lie, like the wrong told story. But you have your best interest in heart, but it leads you down that path. I'm not judging. I'm just pointing and going, look at that path. You're going to be stuck here in 3D again, but you're the nicest person and you seem pretty much on point with a lot of other things, but you're really holding that fucking value, man. Sorry, but the Christmas season needs to go too. Not the Christmas spirit, the Christmas season. All these frivolous bullshit days. You just want a day off of work, just like everyone else, because we're in a slave driving system. So more holidays, more this, give us a day off. That fucking day off, you're working harder most of the time. Or you sleep your way through it. Or you're nervous all fucking day because it's the one day I have extra off and I got to do stupid shit. You know, the system's fucked. Stop propping it up with bullshit. We're going to lie to each other all day long. right? Not me. I'm pulling myself out. I'm not even gonna have the argument. But then you can't go around screaming, keep Christ in Christmas because it's the birth of the baby Jesus, and when that obviously never happened like that. Once again, perpetuating more of the fucking lie. And your faith is strong and it's based, and you're like, raw. I'm like, but that's the one we all know. And you're pushing that button. Come on, man. Come up with a better one than that. You should be like, yo, Jesus's birthday, Space Jesus's birthday is this day. Maybe it's Easter. I don't know when it is, but I know it's not now. And then be hearkening in on like what the true spirit of things are for a personal heart chakra holiday. I don't know. But definitely not rise because the Christ is born. And all, like, it kind of confuses me on that level. And I'm looking at it going, oh no. But they talked about the separation. I watched them trying to anchor us literally earlier this evening. And I said, Paula, this thing is coming through in a wave on Christmas, like creeping death. You know, the more I think about what creeping death actually was, the thing that went door to door, why couldn't it have been a swarm of AI? And your DNA or the blood DNA of the virgin lamb or whatever the fuck they were saying it was, that's what wards off the swarm from your home, and not like a spiritual terror. Because what I saw tonight was literally they're attacking us with heavy metals that were being pumped into us from everywhere, and then attaching these demonic entities to the metal. You know, like with the silver, when I was learning about silver coins and stuff, I smoked DMT, and then the guy, a king came out. It was King Midas. I didn't know who he was at the time. And he said, hold up your coin. I said, how do you know about my coin? My man just gave me a coin about 2 hours ago. He said, let me see it. I held it up, and it was shining. Now, I had my eyes closed. Everything was live and direct. And I reached in my pocket. I was like, man, I don't know how the king knew it was there. And he said, that coin exists here where I am and where you are. Watch. And he grabbed it. He was like, yo. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck, man? He goes, it's here and there. He goes, bleep. He's like, you're like me. You're going to start touching things. It's going to, abundance. So I'm like, yeah, you're a little happy heifer kind of king. You're like the Burger King, but cool. Like, I can't explain it. And he was dancing around me going, we're going to teach you a little bit about gold and silver today. He was touching all the objects, and they were changing. And he was saying that certain rocks and certain densities of materials on the planet, different based materials, resonate in multidimensional places. So if you could sit on the rock, I could possibly sit on that rock. We could both touch the silver. This exists in my realm. I could take this and be like, oh, I could use this. I'm like, you fucking kidding me? He's like, no, not kidding you at all. So now they're using tech like that, metals like that, putting them in your body like that, and then connecting lower frequency. They just look like they're making digital copies of themselves. That was good. And then putting them everywhere. Like when they put the demon in the master, they're not putting like one demon, then another demon, then another demon. They just put it in the master, and every copy that's made has a copy of the demon. It's just the one. That's why they're like, I am Legion. It's like, oh, there's a whole bunch of you. It's the same guy. It's all the one guy. And you're like, is it the devil? I'm like, nope. A whole bunch of them can do it. So they're always different. So they could always claim Legion. It's all bullshit. You got to see through the bullshit. This thing screamed at me 8 different ways. I said, magnets, huh? That's what beat you, magnets? You a homeboy. If I would have known that, I would have got my X-Men magnet right off the fucking refrigerator and slapped it right on his forehead. just called him a homeboy and called it a day. But we're learning that they're using tech. It's tech. It's metal. They're connecting things to it. It's inside of you. You're eating it. You're purging it. We're putting it in. They're taking it out. We're in a holographic reality. And they're trying to get into your blockchain technology, your skin suit technology. But none of this shit works on the creator unless the creator goes, okay, let's do it. And then doesn't do nothing, just kind of goes through it. But you accept it. Like my brother was saying, I don't think about this stuff, so therefore I'm not involved with it. Therefore, it doesn't affect me, the magic and stuff, the evil magic. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You're drinking a Pepsi, walking into the building that's literally built to siphon your fucking energies. Like, what? Like, you're making 0 sense right now. He's like, where are you? I'm like, you're involved the minute you pick up the can of Pepsi. You're in. The minute you buy the ticket to the Travis Scott concert, you're in. You agreed. I'm in. I'm like, bro, I just paid a ticket to go to Metallica. I didn't know the place was going to blow up and be used as a fucking this, that, or the other thing. And it's like, you bought the ticket. It's part of the contract for the whatever. I hate to say that, but that's what it is. You support shit, you'll have self-supporting shit. You gotta get rid of that. You gotta step away from the entire system that wishes to poison and unempower you. Right? Just step away. I don't think so. When I saw that these beings were the cause, they weren't the cause of me fighting and being depressed all the time. They set it in motion, not me. I agreed to it and didn't realize it and went down the lane that I shouldn't have been in. And I got stuck in the loop like everybody else in the whole world. This year, we broke the entire loop and cycle. I don't think I could have done it without Paula. I could never do it without. I don't ever want to even imagine what that's like. My cats, and then every individual, plus the meditations, plus the teachings that I teach and talk about, and other people teach me and I learn about. It took the whole fucking thing. Everything that I had in there, and then me just going with the flow and and I was outside my comfort zone a few times, but I'm going to sound like Paula now. I have faith in me. I have faith in her. That's it. I recognize some crazy shit wherever I am with my Reggie. I know, baby booby. And all my others and Paula. If I could have my mother and brother, that's great. But I'm talking about Frank. I'm talking about Paula. We're home wherever we're at. Right? So we're building this weird thing. It's the StarShip FearLess. Like, we'll be able to pick it up and home will be mobile. It'll be on the go. It can go with the flow of the sea, the air, the wind, the rain, lightning, thunder, space, lava. Doesn't matter. Interdimensional, extra dimensional, whatever. And as long as we're together, the energy of home is with us now. So there'll be no more. This is what I mean. There's going to be a lot of sharing now on the planet. As things crash, things are going to open. The attacks don't work on some of us. Those of us that don't work on might find places where others of us are like, other people are like us, thus creating these giant protected areas, which would then be considered a dimension, because you'd go there and it would be way different than when you're over here. You'd be like, yo, we're over here. It's fucking crazy. You'd be like, well, that's New York for you. Nope. So you jump in dimensions, because I could be in New York, to be an hour up north. And you'd be like, well, that's New York for you. No, You step onto my property, my land that we share, that we do, that we create, and it's completely different and separate than what you are, which is why when you go to Hawaii, it's completely different, or you go to Russia, it's completely different, or to China, it's completely, you're literally entering another dimension. You're getting into a tube and flying into another place that doesn't do anything like you, really. It's like fish out of water all the time. We get so like technical with, yeah, well, it's not really a dimension. Like water is more of a dimension than this and that. And there's, dude, it's the same exact thing. Fish act a certain way over here, and that's the way the animals act. And you go over there on the land and they act like that. And it's completely different than New York animals and the people over here that act like that. It's all dimensional properties and what they get you to shift your mass consciousness into, and they dial you in and keep you anchored and do. We have to shatter this out now, right? If we get rid of it now and face it now, it's not going to be a problem later. It just becomes something awesome that we did, right? So now I don't know how many of you this year felt like depressed and down, but it's the same thing as every year, blah, 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 and felt the cycle and loop repeat. Or did you go and break the cycle and loop and didn't even realize you broke the loop and the cycle that you were involved in when you just want society to crash? And we could, on our level, we're like, oh, let the whole fucking system crash. Fuck this Christmas shit. But if you're an angry little nut through Christmas, you're still not doing it right by going, you know what, fuck Christmas. And then you go home and have like a shit time because it's Christmas and you're just being a little shit. You're not living up to your potential is what I'm trying to say. Your energetic potential. You're still hoisting up the system, even by being an angry little bitter prick. Right? And that's not what you should be, because that's when the attack comes. The attack comes when you're alone and you're like, I'm going to drink a beer. And, I'm just going to have one and see where this goes. And then you fucking slip an Ambien and you take this or that. And nobody ever just drinks a fucking beer. Everyone always does something else mixed with it. That's when these things happen. Slip in. Oh, I'm so protected. I'm wonderful. I'm not vulnerable. They go out and have 3 shots and then they're screaming in the street, fuck you. And obviously, he doesn't have his shit together. Or the guy that looks like he has his shit together completely and then is completely losing it on the inside. Right? They're like just like wishing they would die or something crazy like that. I thought they had it all together. Nah, man, you can't fake the funk. You got to face your shit. You got to change it up. If you don't do it, what are you expecting Biden to do it? Is that what it is? Are you expecting them to all get arrested and then Trump to come back and do it? Like, are you waiting for someone to tell you from the religious church lady, oh no, we're changing it up? Do you need to hear it from a teacher at school who's basically us just grown up? Like, who do you need to hear it from? You need to hear from me. It sounds, this conversation psychotic on so many levels, because I came out of it and went right into the talk after having a talk. But I know this will spark in your mind. If you're having a little bit of a downer, now we're all together and we're raising the frequency, you'll notice the change. You should notice it. If you're not noticing it, maybe you're just the fucking problem. And I don't mean to, I'm not judging. I'm just saying, if you try, I'm trying everything, nothing's working. Obviously, there's a problem. I can tell. So get to work with it. Work doesn't have to be fucking, like Ganesh said, hard. You could sit back, take a couple of deep breaths, have your question, ask it, scan your room, check your cat. I can scan everyone. I scan the whole thing. What does he mean by scanning? Are you not seeing the scanning? Have you not practiced? Do you know the portals that are in your palms and your feet? That's why we ground through and we grow the roots into the middle of earth. It's, if you're into chakras, you should know this stuff. If you're not working with it, if I put my hands together like this, Does it do something better than doing something like this? Does it do better if I do something like this? Does it do better if I do this or do some kind of weird thing with my fucking hands? Well, a bunch of weirdos watching the OA. I know you like that show, a lot of you. I don't like it. And all that weird dance technique, stupid shit. Just fucking sit down and breathe. Hold your symbols. Those are all representative of chakra points in any way. Right? You want to believe in that stupid shit, but you don't want to do it yourself. Oh, I might shift myself into another dimension reality. Go ahead, do it. You're anchored here. Don't worry. You'll come back. You can't, right? Because you're not doing it right. They get you off on these tangents where it's like a little dance group thing. Just do your Tai Chi and stop making a big fucking deal out of it. Do your yoga, do your little movements, wash dishes and do it. You can do it. It doesn't need to be this big magical fucking event, too. You are the magic. You're making it happen. It doesn't have to be like Paula was saying. People wait for like it to be in the public eye or something before they feel like it's being done or can be done or now it's okay to do it. And it's like, are you a robot? That's not how we roll here. You know, like I do what I do. And if society needs to take fucking 200 years to catch up, that's your fucking problem. You know, we're taking the chains off now. Where do you want to be in all this too? How do you want it to play out in your favor? Did you notice this is the repeating loop cycle? Or did you have an all right time? And we're here and we're just like, yeah, man, this is fine. This is cool. We rode the wave. We're doing it. The YMCA. Yeah, right? At a master level, you could joke around and sing that song and do those poses and have it mean in terms of spiritual, energetically wise and getting things done, the exact same thing as the guy who studied on the side of the mountain for 10,000 years doing that. And you come in singing YMCA, doing the exact same thing that he can do because you're in it and just flowing with it. It was weird. There was a story about the master that couldn't. There was another master up on the mountain. I'm butchering this, I know already. And then he goes up to the top of the mountain and he sees. He meets this master from up there, and the guy that came up the mountain was like adamant that he goes up there, and now it's his turn to be the master at the top of the mountain to see what's going on. And he realizes the master at the top of the mountain is doing all of the meditations and the seed mantras wrong. He's saying them wrong, right? And the guy's like, that's not how you do that. This is how you're supposed to do it. And the guy's like, oh, okay, do it. So the guy's showing him, and then the other guy just does it wrong and runs across the water, right? Just runs to walk on water, doing it wrong, where the other guy doing it correct the whole time couldn't do anything but his mantra. And he's like, sometimes you got to just let that shit go, homie. It's like, wow, man. It's a fucking weird, wild world. You are reprogramming a holographic reality with your consciousness. You got to want to do that. You got to want to be in here and do that now. This is why they say you can't save anyone at this point. You can't. They'll come on when they're ready. They don't need to be saved. It's unfortunate. People pass all the time. So if someone dies and you consider it this, that, or the other thing, try considering their contract and then look at it again and realize that, yeah, within all this other crazy shit that we got going on and what we believe, everyone's got their own individual contracts as well. Like, oh, how could you take this one from me or that one from me or my cat from me this way or that way? It's like, well, they were contracted to do that. You didn't really take that one, wasn't taken from you. No one came in here and bashed the cat's head and did it. Cat died. Contract's up. Did its job. Some people are doing that. And then they're out. The more aware of all these things that you become, the more leveled up inside you become, the more you see more right in front of your eyes. I think there gets to a point where there's so much of that more, it overtakes this, and then you're there. And then the people that aren't are here. I don't know if that makes sense, because I can see the split occurring, and I know nobody's really going anywhere. When you talk about frequency, they're just built on top of each other. If you got my attention with a red balloon from 5D and it came by, right, and we're doing this intense fearless talk, and I just look at the red balloon, I'm in 5D now. I didn't even come back to this. I was talking, and now I'm there with the balloon. We were just, wasn't I? Wow, look at this place. This is pretty. Where's you're there. It's how it works. It's like a slip and slide right in. It's not like this vibration, dancing and moving. It's not all that. It has nothing to do with any of that shit. It's kind of like I was saying, what was I just saying? And you're there. That's it. That's it. And it's right in front of you. And now I'm able to affect them in their frequency with my spiritual energy, which means the spiritual energy can do physical things in 5D. I can physically reach out and grab you. Of course, in the nicest way, or not. Naturally, you're in 5D. You're not going to want to do stupid shit. But these kind of creatures, they have to be in like that 4D area. I don't know how high they can go before they can't be shitty like that. I don't know. Everyone's different. It's like every group is different. Every single thing has a different thing that it's doing for a different thing for a different group. So I don't know. But I know what I did. And I know that if this is any indication of what's to come, the future is going to be pretty fucking cool. It's going to be pretty bright. Have fun, smile, laugh at the most ridiculous stuff. There were some real cruel, ugly jokes recently. Not hard at each other, but, too soon type stuff. And then kept it rolling. And I think I told you guys about this one, right? I don't know. I might not have. But Reggie has... this is terrible. So I just think it's funny, though. But we had to laugh at it because it's fucking probably true. So the mother has the stash, the little black Hitler under her nose. So when we were naming her, I said, oh, I don't want to say it, but looks like baby Hitler, but only cuter. And she was like, it's Charlie Chaplin, not Hitler. So we would go, hey, it's Charlie, not Hitler. That's not the funny part. It gets funny. So Charlie has a baby. It's Reggie. Me and Reggie hanging out. We're trying to name Reggie. So I'm like, look, she has the same Hitler. She goes, you mean Charlie, not Hitler? So then I was sitting with Reggie the other night, and I was holding her, and I was touching. I was like, your nose is so pink, and you got your little Reggie do right here. I go, but in the alternate universe, and then I made the noise, right? It had her dressed in, it was Hitler, not Charlie. And it was baby Adolf. So then Reggie was in the room with the outfit on, and she comes up here and she demands the string, and everyone's like, yeah, yeah. It was like a terrible thing, but it was really funny to see. I was like, so the alternate universe, everyone. I went on the space station and there were Nazis, so I don't even know what to say. They're everywhere. And in the alternate universe, it would be that. But instead of getting all crouched out about it, because we were saying we didn't talk about any of the killings or anything. We just talked about, the accents and the yeah, yeah, da. We were watching Eurotrip, and this kid has to get to this girl, and she's German. So they go to Germany. They make their way to her finally, and she's not there. She went on a trip to Italy, and then she was going to leave for the summer or some shit. So the younger brother was there. He's like this little blonde kid, and he's like playing with markers. So the two American guys come in the room, and they're both dummies, right? They're like, "Hey, is the girl here? We're looking." And the father's like this gentleman. He's like, no, she's no here, blah, 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 blah. And he's like trying to talk to them. And behind the dad, the kid takes the black marker and just puts it on his nose, right? And he creates the mustache. So the sidekick friend is looking at the kid like, "Oh, what are you doing?" So the kid starts walking behind the dad like, this is like a 6-year-old. It's the funniest. I lost my fucking shit. And then he starts turning around going, and then the dude's like, "You don't see what the fucking kid is doing?" It was just one of those funny things to me. And it all played out, and we laughed and fucking laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed more, and it totally broke the mold. And that's not some place that we usually go. I'm just saying. That's not usually the humor. But I've taken my restrictor off because I don't care. There's some shit that's just fucking funny, and deal with it. I'm tired of getting uptight over words, and you can't do this and you can't say that. Listen, Michael Jaco is awesome, and he did something the other day I thought was off color, and then I watched it and I was like, is it though? So it said in the title of the YouTube thing, now they're acting retarded or something. And it was obviously he was taking a shot at Biden and all them. They're all making people act retarded. And the whole label was retard. I'm like, I thought we couldn't say this word. I said it accidentally once playing around with Paul. You're making me retarded. And we had people here that were like, "Oh, you can't use that word." I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, I started bringing up definitions and different stuff, and they didn't want to hear it. They're like, "Well, can't say it. I go, "You're just taking words away." I'm like, that's no good either. We got to take it back and be funny and laugh and break away. Ooh, the wind just came in here like most intense. We got to break through the cycles. The energetic change is upon us. Here's your fucking chance to do it. All right. I think anything after this point is me just being high and rambling to you guys. New World Disorder. One crazy thing, my intent and the manifestation and the outcome of an action was in the physical snapping of this creature's teeth. It brought the spiritual and physical together for me in a way I've never seen. It was the weirdest fucking thing. I'm like, wait a second. So you mean I could send that? I mean, it was a dire situation, but I don't know. I can't explain it. Like Green Lantern in his ring, he could just make a construct like a boxing glove and punch you. But he's over here. It comes out of the ring. It's like a green energy that comes out of the ring and then creates whatever he wants. And it's in the color green. That's why he's Green Lantern. And then it just does whatever he wants. If he wants to catch you, maybe he'll make a giant catcher's mitt and he catches people falling from buildings. If he needs a ship to go into space because there's 10 of us, he creates a giant green ship. They all get in. We can fly to space. Okay. with that being said, what I did tonight was not like Green Lantern, but just like him. It wasn't, I got out of my body and affected something with my spirit in that frequency physically. Like, what up, homie? I've not really been able to do that like that. He was sitting in the chair. That's like doing a magic spell and then them just, and you're like, oh, that shit works. Right? It was weird. It was fucking weird. I don't want to get weird and say, like, what if I force choked that dude? Not by reaching out and grabbing him. My body blacked out. My eyes were wide open. My mouth was open. We were melting into each other. I wasn't breathing. I can completely see what was in front of me. And then I came out of my body, just like an out of body experience. And then I can see it both ways. And the character just went over there and was like, oh, let me see this. Oh, drip, drip. Okay, snap. And it was so intense. And then the character I was done in the next part of the experience. He was still in the chair choking. I wasn't administering no help. I wanted his guys to come and get him. I don't know where he went. I don't know how he left. I don't care. I jump frequency. You can't be there. You be in the chair in 3D and I'm in 5D in the chair. You don't know where I am. So it's like I'm invisible to you, but I know that you're there. These are giant bonuses if you're into this kind of stuff, but this is where we are and this is what we're doing. And it's your assignment if you choose to accept it. You know, you go back to work and do your job. It could be fun. I just want all the energy back, the original energies. I don't want anyone trapped. I don't want children being hurt. I don't want anybody getting vaxxed with poisonous AI, because that's what it really, there's all this other shit. And you're going to have to be the change. I'm going to have to be my change. You're going to be your change. It's not going to happen on TV, I'll tell you that. By the time it does, it might be too late for some of you. Just saying. I don't know if you're waiting with them in mind to tell you, oh no, now it's time. If you listen to Jim Cramer, that crackhead on whatever the fuck chat, I don't even know. I just know he talks stocks, and now he was talking big. You'd be poor all day and all night if you ever listened to him. Literally, they put those people in front of you, and I'm using him as an example because people are like, oh, I heard what Jim Cramer was saying. Why are you even listening to him? It's like listening to the guy going retard. So back to Jaco. He did a whole show on it, like an hour and a half, and he just kept saying how retarded they were. They being the cabal, they being the people getting triple dose vaxxed, and how it's making them retarded. And he just kept going, and I'm like sweating. I was totally triggered. Saying, I thought we're not allowed to do this. He's like, take the power away and go back to using things the way you need to use them. If you find a joke in something, laugh at it. Don't hurt someone to make the joke. But you're breaking a structure inside of you. I think this was his point. Right? So if I can't use that word. It's like a brick in your wall. Now, you don't have to use the word, but if you're being triggered by hearing Frank say the word retarded, you have a problem. Because if I'm just explaining something, you can't do that. That's your problem. It's a word. You got to let go of whatever that resistance is. So if you laugh at something, look, they're being retarded. Oh, ha, ha, ha. You're not laughing at someone who has a disability. Shouldn't have to be spoken about. We literally grew up with this and then had it in other lifetimes and then all the way in different generations. Now, naturally, there are one or two that really shouldn't even be there. Its connotation is bad. However, you can't have the brick there. So you got to flow with it, right? So you'd watch Friday. Obviously, we all laugh. Everyone's using the N word every 5 seconds, but you can't say it. Now, I get it. We get it. Does the word hold power over you, or do you hold power over the word? I think this is the point of the whole thing too, right? So you find the funny and you roll with it if you can. This is why Mel Brooks was so good. Go watch Blazing Saddles if you can make it through it. I think it's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life. They just take full swings, but they're all hanging out together, loving each other, like in the best ways. Like maybe it's time to just give up some of our bullshit and move into the next thing. Yeah. All right. I love all of you. I love you guys so much. I know you know. I feel like I'm talking to the choir sometimes, or just hopefully some tidbit comes out of my nonsensical rants tonight, because it's deliberate and it's hyper detailed. As the week goes on, the days go on, I'll be more clear about this than I was tonight. But I could put this on paper. How what happened to me, and then the psychedelic going back and redoing, and then the guy coming in. Paula was like, you know why he was here. They don't know what to do. So the guy that said, I'll get her done, they were like, go in there and fucking find out what's happening. And then stop it. And we laughed right in the face of that. And went with the flow. But we didn't know that up front. I was just, I don't know. If you would have saw it and you would have been here, you'd have been like, oh, I get it. I totally get why Frank did that. But the way it happened was so, was not prepared for it, but fully prepared for it. I never kicked a chair and looked cool like that ever. I felt like I was in the Matrix when the architect just looks over at Neo and he's got his legs crossed. He's like, yeah, obviously, whatever. I felt like that guy, but happy. It was the weirdest thing. But I think that's because I'm the programmer. Right? You don't get to tell me. I tell you, get the fuck out of here. Right? I created this. You get lost. You're not in my universal creation anymore. We don't want you here. We want you to go. No, we don't want you here. We want you to go. But what about we want you to go? Bye. And then you have to make your changes. And you'll feel better about life. You will. Don't let it build up, because now here comes New Year's, right? Part 2 or part 3. You'd have Thanksgiving. Real meaning of Thanksgiving opposed to Thanksgiving, where we murdered American Indians. Christmas, where Jesus isn't born, what Moloch is, and that's when they brought him through the dimension to be here. Literally feeds on children. So Krampus technically is true, but that doesn't make Jesus any less pliable. Space Jesus was in the spring, I believe, at some point. And now New Year's. What's the big deal? What's the big deal about New Year? Well, we're doing the reset with the time and the who cares? They make it like, well, Monday will start brand new again. The new normal is the new, with that fake smile on your fucking face. Forget it. Let it all go. Don't go to the parades. Don't go to the functions. Maybe party with your people. Safe. It's not all about here's the other thing. The calendar's off. So it's not even the calendar's not even correct. Because if it was correct and we were following it 100% to the T, beautiful, wonderful things would be happening. But by throwing the calendar off so bit and then doing stuff like well, we'll go an hour darker and then an hour lighter. What is that? That when the time changes. So now it's dark really early. Why are you doing that? These things are all to fuck up your cycle. Right? You're drinking sodas. You shouldn't. Taking medicines that you shouldn't. Or medications, pharmacia of some kind that you probably shouldn't. And still at no point has anyone other than people like us that are out there that are talking like us in these groups have said anything about vitamin D on the mainstream at all. Still nothing. Joe Rogan talks about it. He's like, man, get out in the sun, do some exercises, vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, blah, blah. Still not one person on the news or on any of these programmings. Not even Whoopi Goldberg and those cackling hens. Nothing. Nothing. Just give it up and let it go. Let them go. All right, I'm done. I love you guys so much. Daylight savings. Thank you, Della. Oh, yeah. Sorry. We're going to go out playing a Sons of the Sun track. New track drops on this week, the 31st. I have it up on the calendar. Going into the new year. I think you guys are going to like it. It's called Unraveling. 1L. Because we're not in the UK. It kicks ass. So we'll be proud to present that. Kevin and I'll probably do like a little we'll do what we did the last time. We'll play some music and we'll play the single. We'll do something cha 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 cha. And we'll have a good time with it. Don't forget to check out Sons of the Sun. And you guys have questions or whatever, you're noticing stuff like I'm talking about, like in that detail. Come here, baby. Come say hi to everyone. What do you know? Come on. Look. Reggie on screen in the house, say. Okay. I love you so much. Oof, come here. Have a good night tonight. Merry Christmas, everyone. If you see this kind of stuff and you're pointing it out and you're figuring it out, don't make it up in your mind. See it for what it is. You're not going crazy a lot of times. And you don't got to run around blaming people on your list. This is another thing. If there's a list of things that has to be done and it's all other people's faults and it's always someone else, it's always someone else is on the list. And it's your list of getting things done for you. Well, if they were like this, then I would be like that. And if this was like this, then I would be like that. You're doing it wrong. Your name should be on the list 100 times. Because once you're clean and clear, you'll start standing up and saying no and yes to the things you like and no to the things you don't no longer need. You'll start purging and cleaning and purging and feeling lighter and fresher and you'll have your ups and downs like everyone else, but you'll do it. You're going to do it. You're going to shine bright. Everyone's going to be great. Now I'm going to go smoke weed and eat Fruity Pebbles. I love you guys so much. Stay fearless and remember the universe rewards bravery. That's it. The universe rewards bravery. It's beautiful. And I love it so much. Good night, everyone.